Hi, so here we are with another Margarete Miller Collage challenge. So, 2 questions. What does a yellow-crested cockatoo and St. Paul's Cathedral have in common? Well, absolutely nothing, but in the world of art, we know that anything goes. So, I've mixed the 2 of them today, and that's my collage for this week. So, come along. Let's see what I do. 19 of the Margarete Miller Collage Challenge. What have we got this week? So we've got architecture. So I've got this awesome photo that I found out of an old book, and it's actually St. Paul's Cathedral in London. When it was bombed during the war, you can see there, the bomb came through, but it missed everything, missed the whole altar and just landed right there, which they were really lucky about. Something with wings. Well, I fussy cut out this little guy, except in this photo and on this picture he's going to look huge. He's going to sit about there, I think. A bumpy surface. So I've got a napkin and I've pulled it apart, and I'm going to use the inside part and I'm going to glue all the dark parts and make them rough with that. A coin or currency. So seeing as it's St. Paul's Cathedral in London, I found a 2p piece. So I'm going to use that. Black and white is on the picture. So because I've kind of doubled up with my prompts, I thought I might use the bonus, which is a squiggle. So there we have it. So let's pop that over there, just so we know what's going on. Let's get started with this. So still a little big. It's this part that I want to focus on, so I might cut some more off the bottom of here. It's just out of an old book. It was a book all about the war. Had lots of stuff in it, actually. Lots of fashions and funny things they had, like radios and bits and pieces. It's quite interesting. So today I'm not going to ink the edges because I want that white around there anyway. So I'm going to glue that on. I wonder if I should rough up those edges just to give it a little bit more texture. Let's just try that, hey? I don't know what it's going to turn out like. The dark parts around where it was bombed. So all around there. There. Alright, let's get that stuck down. Such an awesome picture, isn't it? Can't even imagine you know, your national monuments being bombed during a war. Would have been quite distressing, because St. Paul's Cathedral is really a place that people go to on lots and lots of occasions. Alright, let me try doing around these dark parts with this napkin now. So it should technically only stick to these parts that I want it to stick to, and over the edge, of course. And a glue stick is okay for this. You can use Mod Podge, but because the napkin is so fine, it will definitely stick. So we might do a bit around the edge here too. Let's grab this napkin. We can tear it, and then it will be sort of shaped into place. And that's going to give us our rough surface, which I may add some paint to. Bring in the yellow from the cockatoo. Naughty cockatoos. I think I've told you about them before. They're really, really naughty and destructive. Will kind of give me the look of, you know, rough edges, because the place was bombed as well, which is what I want. So I kind of want the focus to be on this middle section here. So who watched the coronation? What did you think? All the pomp and ceremony, hey? Seems to be something that the British do really well. I guess they've had a lot of practice. I think Australia will eventually have its own head of state, which I'm looking forward to. Even though I came here as a child, I'm still Australian. Kind of funny actually, when you're born in another country, you never really belong to one or the other. You sort of always between the two, and I'm always torn. For the cricket, I always go for Australia, and for things like this pomp and ceremony, the King's coronation and all that sort of stuff, I'm very British and, you know, love it all and all that sort of stuff. Got this here. So a last little bit down the bottom. And I might just do some along here just to stop that. It says a bumpy surface. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here, is definitely a bumpy surface. If this was for, say, a journal or something, I would probably use Mod Podge. But because it's just for this, the glue stick is quick and it will stick for this purpose. Okay, I've just brought the camera down a bit so you can see it's all dry now, and it's given me this bumpy surface that I can now add and make it even more textury if I want to. Okay, let's get on and continue. Yeah, I was really happy with how that's dried. It's really rough. I was wondering if I was going to need some texture paste, but I'm not. Alright, so let's get our other elements getting on there. So we've got our galah or our cockatoo on the high altar there. I really like that. And then we've got our money or coin or currency. So we've got a coin. And I was thinking for the squiggles that I might use a little piece of wool, which is the same yellow colour, and I might hook it around there like that and have it going up sort of squiggly, I guess, up to the bird, and he can be dropping the coin on there. So something like that, I think. And then I might do some yellow paint touches around the side here just to finish up. So let me get those stuck down. He can go just with some glue stick, but I think with this it's going to need Mod Podge, and that's definitely going to need super glue. So I'm just going to grab those. I've stuck the coin on with a bit of super glue. I'm just sticking just around the very edge with super glue so that it will hold the wool in place. I don't want it moving around, so I'm just encouraging that to stay there. Yeah, that's good. That's holding there now. So don't use super glue a lot, but just sometimes it just helps to have it in place or keep something that you want in place. Maybe a bit more there. I'm right at the end of this super glue, but I want to use it up. And a bit more there, I think. Just so it brings it round. I'm not going to use my fingers with this stuff. So many times I've had super glue stuck all over my fingers, and you know, you can't get it off for days. It becomes like a second skin. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. There. That will work just fine. Now we've got to make these squiggles. So I think I'm going to do that just by having them sort of come around like that. We might stick a little bit more glue there. Super glue seems to be working with the wool. We want them coming right up to the altar because that's going to be the focal point for the bird. I think that's squiggly enough. I'm hoping that meets the prompt. Let's hold that on there a minute. There we go. Right. All good. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's a squiggle, in case you didn't know. And now I'm going to stick my bird on. Let me just get a piece of paper so that I don't... Where's my trusty bag? Here it is. My trusty gluing / paint bag. And I've just got to be careful with the very edges of the bird because he has been fussy cut. And I want him to be landing right about there, I think. Have that going up there. And him up here like that. Yep, happy with that. Make sure all his edges are stuck down. Good. Alright, let's get my yellow paint and do around the edges here. Just a few touches where the napkin has become really bumpy is where I just want to pick up around the edge. Trusty cheap watercolours. Seem to do the job. Let's see if we can just add a bit of colour on here. Just to pick up a bit of the yellow that's in the bird. And his crest there. They are beautiful, these birds. I do love them. Funny to watch. So I'm actually just wanting to sort of pick up the bits that are bumpy, as it were. To sort of meet the prompt. A bit dark there, but we can just get rid of that. I love using napkins. How about you guys? Do you use napkins in your art? I find they're great. They really leave like an interesting surface for you to work on. It looks a bit like he's torn up a pillowcase. And that would be the kind of thing he would do as well. Just had a little bit of a play with adding some ink as well. And I quite like that, so that's good. And then I might just go over it a little bit with some gesso as well. Just to tone it all back a little bit. I really wanted the altar and the bird to be, you know, the architecture to be sort of the main thing. I don't want any of the colours to overpower because I really wanted the bird and his crest to stick out as well. You know, it's the beauty with art, isn't it? If something doesn't look how you think it's going to look, you just can go over the top of it. I really love that. I still want a little bit of the yellow, but maybe not as much as I had. So let's just see how we go with this, and if not, I'll go back over the top again with some more yellow, but I think this just sort of tones it down a bit. Still giving us our bumpy surface. And we still got some yellow as well. Okay, so it's turned out pretty good. That's a lot better now after adding that gesso. So I'm really liking how that looks. It's sort of like peering through the bomb damage, which I really like. Alright, let's have a look. So we've got our architecture. We've got St. Paul's Cathedral in the background. Something with wings. We've got our gorgeous bird with his yellow crest. bumpy surface, so we made that out of napkins, coin or currency. The black and white was on here, but because we hit 2 prompts with the one thing, I decided to go for a squiggle, which is with my wool. So, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I don't think I need to add anything else. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have the most awesome week. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. So I start to set up the end shot, and this is what happens.
Did you miss me?
No, but they will all know that you miss me.
I didn't know you were on camera. Sorry.
Do it.